Incredible moment, Millionaire's life-changing gesture after poor girl's denial is revealed to all. Mia's heart raced as the headline flashed across her phone screen, an electric surge of emotions coursing through her. She could already see the eager faces in the crowd, waiting to see what she would do. The billionaire David Hartman had created a scholarship program meant for kids just like her, kids fighting against the rugged winds of their reality, kids dreaming of brighter futures. Yet, there she stood, consumed by uncertainty, a storm brewing inside her, refusing to take the plunge. She felt torn. Every evening, after long shifts at the diner and the grocery store, she would come home exhausted, facing the shadows of her family's struggles. Her father, now a lingering memory of the man he used to be after his factory accident, sat quietly, the weight pressing down on her shoulders. The bills were never ending, and each beep of the microwave reminded her to stay strong, to support her family. The idea of going to college seemed so out of reach, like a mirage in the scorching desert of her life. Mia was a worker, not a dreamer. Or at least, that's what she tried to convince herself. So, when her friends started talking about the scholarship, throwing around words like opportunity and hope, it made her skin prick with unease. She watched them debate fiercely in their small circle on the playground, voices wavering between excitement and skepticism. Was Hartman really helping, or was it just another way to flaunt his fortune? A chance or a cruel reminder of the chasm between them? At home, things escalated. Her older brother, once her protector, now brought tension home from his own frustrations. "Mia, you have to accept this. It's our lifeline," he urged, his hands gripping the table, fists clenched in desperation. "If not for you, then for us. This is a way out." But each time, she shook her head, pride swelling in her chest with every denial of the gift. Then the fateful night came when she found herself at the scholarship meeting, not because she wanted to be there, but to support her friends. The room buzzed, filled with nervous laughter and cautious hope. As each student shared their stories, Mia listened intently, the weight of their words settling into her chest. Dreams of becoming a doctor, an artist, and an engineer floated around her, heavy with determination. Her heart cracked open as she heard another student's story, one that mirrored her own but danced with an embrace of possibility. The struggles, the resilience, where was her own hope? Memories flickered as she recalled happy nights with her dad, his laughter echoing her dreams. It is then she felt the tugging in her chest, that longing to rise from her own limits. Just as she started to consider the possibility that maybe this was meant for her too, the room fell silent. David Hartman himself walked in, a charismatic presence, but what caught Mia's attention was the vulnerability in his gaze as he recounted his own beginnings, once a boy with little, inspired by her father's tenacity. The world spun. Here was a man who could relate, who once walked the same path. Mia felt the ground beneath her shift. Torn between pride and possibility, and the sharp edge of her family's reality, she faced herself in ways she never had before. Would she shame her family by accepting help, or could this be the turning point? The crowd leaned in, anticipation thickening the air, eyes glued to her like she was on a stage. The question kept whispering through her mind: what did it mean to rise above her circumstances? Would she stand up and seize a chance, or back down under the burden of pride? Mia took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the moment pressing down on her like an anvil. The air was thick with expectation, every eye in the room seemed to penetrate her very soul. She could hear her heart pounding in her ears, drowning out the whispers of encouragement from her friends. "You've got this, Mia," one of them mouthed silently, their supportive smile doing little to quell her inner turmoil. David Hartman continued speaking, sharing stories sprinkled with laughter and sincerity, grounding himself in the experiences that shaped him. The way he spoke made Mia want to lean in, to believe that perhaps dreams were not just meant to be the currency of the rich. His story unfolded like the pages of a book she'd never read but desperately wanted to. The boy with a dream who rose to create opportunities for others like him, but what about her? A wave of fear crashed over her. This wasn't just about her anymore, it was about her family, her brother, all the faces behind her, their hopes resting on her shoulders. Was she truly ready to reach for something greater? Wasn't it safer to stay planted in the familiar soil of her life, even if it was rocky and barren? As the crowd continued to watch her, holding their breath, Mia felt the burden of the world slide off her shoulders for just a moment. The fear was still there, but beneath it was a tiny spark of something else: hope. She thought about the nights spent lying awake, dreaming of something beyond this small town. Each aspiration was a flickering flame, hesitant yet alive. And what if she failed? The thought sent a chill through her. But then again, what if she succeeded? The shift in her heart was palpable, a stirring that could not be ignored. It was time to stop fearing the fall and start believing in the climb. She whispered, her voice caught somewhere deep in her throat. The room leaned in closer, as if coaxing her to reveal everything she held within. That it felt like ages before she could find her voice, but the moment was now. I want to accept the scholarship. The words spilled out, stronger than she anticipated, each syllable cutting through the tension. The room erupted. Cheers and applause erupted from familiar faces, relief and excitement crashing over her like waves. Tears prickled at the edges of Mia's eyes, not tears of sadness, but of realization. But even amidst the jubilation, an unease gnawed at her. There was still so much to figure out. Would accepting this scholarship mean she was giving up on her family, her pride? Could she somehow lift them alongside her? Overwhelmed, Mia looked up at David Hartman. There was understanding in his eyes, reflecting both her struggle and the possibilities that lay ahead. He smiled back at her, affirming that she wasn't alone in this decision, that accepting help didn't mean appearing weak. Instead, it could signify strength, choice, and an opportunity for growth and change. As she stood before the crowd, she could feel the energy shift. The journey had just begun, and she was no longer just Mia, the girl from the diner. She could be Mia, the student, the changemaker, the daughter who fought for a better future. But as jubilation washed over her, one question lingered: would the world support her when she really needed it? What if the weight of expectation became heavier than the joy? With those thoughts swirling in her mind, Mia braced herself for the journey ahead, both exhilarating and terrifying. But she had taken the first step, and now there was no turning back. What lay beyond the acceptance of that scholarship would soon test whether she was ready to embrace the challenges ahead, or if pride would cast her back into the shadows. Mia stood there, the applause still ringing in her ears, as she took in the faces surrounding her. Excitement, pride, disbelief, they all blended into one euphoric moment. Yet, beneath the surface, something gnawed at her insides. It felt as if a silent ripple had been cast into still waters, one that could grow into a storm if left unchecked. Did you really mean it? Mia's best friend, Sarah, was the first to break through her thoughts, her eyes wide, sparkling with joy. You actually took the scholarship. The weight of her words sent a cascade of warmth through Mia, but it quickly faded as she felt the weight of the untold questions still hanging in the air. I did, she said softly, unsure if she should be smiling or crying. The scholarship felt like a lifeline thrown into the ocean of uncertainty she had been sailing on. Yet the thought of leaving her family behind hung heavily in the balance. David Hartman stepped closer, his presence a comforting anchor. I know this feels like a celebration, but I want you to remember that it's just the beginning. There will be challenges, he warned gently. But those challenges can fuel your fire. You don't need to have every answer now, Mia. Just take it one step at a time. His words resonated deeply. Standing before a man who had once faced his own struggles gave her a sense of connection. Maybe she wasn't just a girl from the diner after all. Perhaps she had the ability to become someone extraordinary. But as the crowd gradually dispersed, leaving a trail of laughter and enthusiasm in their wake, a shadow fell across her heart. Mia's thoughts drifted to her family. They had sacrificed so much for her mother's long hours, her brother's silent burdens. Would she even have time for them in this ambitious new life she was embracing? Before she could dwell too long, Sarah sidled closer, nudging her with excitement. Mia, you have to know we'll be cheering you on every step of the way. It's going to be amazing. Just think about all the experiences ahead. A smile slipped onto Mia's face, though it felt bittersweet. The idea of new experiences was intoxicating, but with each dream came a sense of responsibility. She wasn't just leaving her comfort zone, she was launching herself into a new world without a clear map. That evening, the familiar smell of her mother's cooking wrapped around her like a warm hug when she stepped through the front door. "You did it, honey." Her mother beamed, pulling her into a fierce embrace. "I knew you could." Mia wanted to sink into that moment, but a pang of guilt crept in. "Mom, are you okay with this?" she finally asked, needing reassurance. "Of course. You deserve this, Mia. Just don't forget where you came from," her mom replied, a mixture of pride and worry mingling in her voice. Mia nodded, the knot in her stomach tightening. "I won't forget. But I need you to promise me something. No matter what happens, I need your support." Her mother pulled back, looking straight into her eyes. "You have it. We're family, remember? We rise together." With those words grasping at her heart, Mia felt a flicker of determination reignite within her. She had made the leap, and now she needed to navigate through the unknown, balancing between two worlds that seemed so different yet so intertwined that as she lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling, Mia found herself grappling with her identity. Who was she going to be? The girl from the diner or the student with big dreams? The uncertainty felt like a pair of heavy boots stepping onto her dreams. But she had taken a chance. She had made a choice. Could she truly carry her family's hopes while also carving out her own path? With that burning question echoing in her mind, sleep slipped away from her grasp. Tomorrow would bring its own set of challenges, but for now, all she could do was hold on to the flame she'd ignited within herself. What lay ahead was unknown, a winding road filled with obstacles and revelations, and she braced herself for an adventure that would change everything or tear her apart. Mia woke the next morning with sunlight spilling through her window, painting the room in soft hues of gold. Her heart raced at the thought of what lay ahead. Today would be her first meeting with the scholarship advisor, and she was filled with a mix of excitement and anxiety. The fate of her dreams felt precariously balanced on this single meeting. As she got ready, she glanced at herself in the mirror. Was it the same girl staring back at her? The girl who had been serving pancakes and coffee just months ago? She felt different now, a current of ambition tingling just beneath her skin. Yet, amidst the newfound confidence, that nagging feeling of doubt loomed over her like a storm cloud. With her mother's encouraging words echoing in her mind, she took the bus downtown, Alex's part of the city sprawling before her eyes. It was a far cry from the diner, everything felt bigger, brighter, and a bit intimidating. The streets buzzed with life, and she felt small among the throngs of people. Each step toward the university felt heavier with expectations. Once inside the towering building, the coolness of the air conditioning washed over her, providing a brief relief from the warmth outside. She found the advisor's office, took a deep breath, and entered. "Hello, Mia. I'm Mrs. Thompson," the advisor said, her voice friendly and welcoming. She gestured for Mia to sit. "Congratulations on your scholarship." "It's no small feat, thank you," Mia managed, her voice barely above a whisper. Mrs. Thompson started discussing academic requirements, housing options, and financial aid details. It all swirled around in Mia's head, a dizzying combination of excitement and pressure. She caught snippets of words like success, network, and future. But the more Mrs. Thompson spoke, the more Mia's heart sank under the weight of her responsibilities. "I also want to encourage you to join some clubs and organizations. They're great for networking," Mrs. Thompson added. Mia forced a smile. The last thing she envisioned was mingling at some fancy functions when her mind was wrapped around her family's challenges back home. What would they do without her? What if she got swept away into this new life and forgot about the one she loved? "Is everything okay?" Mrs. Thompson interrupted her thoughts, concern etched on her face. "Oh, yes. I'm just thinking about everything." "It's a lot," Mia said, forcing sincerity into her words. "It's normal to feel overwhelmed. Just remember, it's a journey. "You're not alone in this," the advisor reassured her. As the meeting wrapped up, Mia walked out feeling more confused than ever. The path ahead was beginning to seem less like an adventure and more like a weight pulling her down. She stepped outside and took a moment to breathe, feeling the warmth of the sun on her skin. But when she turned to leave, her phone vibrated in her pocket. Pulling it out, she saw a text from her brother, Jake. "Can you come home? Mom's not feeling well." Panic gnawed at her. The excitement she had felt just moments ago vanished, replaced by raw fear. She felt torn in two, her ambitions on one side and her family's needs on the other. With her heart racing and decisions piling up, Mia closed her eyes for just a moment, balancing on the tightrope between two worlds. What if she wasn't strong enough to hold both? As questions swirled in her mind, she took a step back towards the building. Was she ready to tackle this storm, or would she let it wash her away? Mia stood outside the university, the sun's warmth now a mere echo against the growing chill in her heart. She stared at her phone, the screen blinking back at her like a weighty reminder of her responsibilities. Mom's not feeling well. Those words bore into her, each letter a dagger that deepened her dilemma. Could she really pursue her dreams when her family needed her? She felt like she was in a tug-of-war, and the rope was fraying. "Hey, Mia. You all right?" A voice broke through her spiral of thoughts. It was Aisha, her old friend from the diner. Dressed in a sleek blazer and holding a tote bag overflowing with books, she looked every bit the student Mia aspired to be. Mia nodded, forcing a smile that felt foreign. "Just got some news." Aisha narrowed her eyes slightly, then softened. "Okay, but you look like someone just told you your cat ran away. What's up?" The instinct to shield her feelings sparked inside her, but the sincerity on Aisha's face was hard to resist. "It's my mom. She's not well," Mia confessed, her voice trembling. "Oh no, Mia. I'm so sorry." Aisha put her hand on Mia's shoulder with the familiarity of their shared past. "Do you need to go back home? I can help you." Mia felt the warmth of Aisha's support wash over her. "I don't know. I had this meeting today. I'm all set to start this new chapter, and now this feels like everything is unraveling." Aisha finished for her, her voice full of understanding. "Yeah. It feels like I have to choose between my family and what I want for myself." Aisha's brow furrowed in thought. "But what if you don't have to choose? You could manage both. You're smart, and you're strong, Mia." Mia thought of the daily struggles at home, of Jake trying to keep things together while her mom battled her ailments. The thought of abandoning them felt like a betrayal, yet those visions of college, of a future filled with promise, loomed large as well. What if Mia started, the idea forming slowly? What if I could find a way to balance school and being there for them? What if I managed my time, did virtual classes, or even part-time work on campus? Aisha's face lit up, a spark igniting in her eyes. "That's amazing. You could make it work. And I know resources to help you with everything. You won't be alone in this." Mia's spirits lifted a fraction, but uncertainty lingered. Will it really be enough? "Listen, when I started my first semester, I was terrified, and I had my moments of doubt, too. But the support is here. You can do this, Mia. And you don't have to walk this path alone." Mia inhaled deeply, letting Aisha's strength encircle her. Maybe it was possible. Maybe she could tackle this challenge head-on. But just as optimism began to take root, her phone buzzed again, another message from Jake, this time urgent. "Mia. Please, it's serious." Her heart dropped. Would she really leave them hanging? "Go home," Aisha urged softly, her voice firm but kind. "You need to take care of your family. They come first right now. Then, you can come back stronger, ready to take that leap." Mia felt a lump form in her throat. Aisha had given her the freedom to see both sides, family and ambition. But the decision still weighed heavily on her heart. Gazing back at the university building, the future she had yearned for suddenly felt like a mirage. What was the point of success without the love and support of her family? Mia turned towards the bus stop, determination sparking anew. But as she walked away, one question nagged at her: if she left now, would she find her way back to her dreams later? The bus pulled up, and she stepped inside, uncertain. She could feel the pull of destiny, the clash of two worlds fighting for her heart. Would she find the strength to follow both roads, or risk losing one forever? As the bus jolted forward, Mia clutched the overhead rail, her heart racing. Each bump in the road mirrored the turmoil inside her. She couldn't shake off the urgency in Jake's message. What was happening at home? The thought made her stomach twist uncomfortably. People on the bus chatted, oblivious to her storm of emotions. She peeked out the window, watching the world blur past a cascade of familiar places and faces. Each one echoed memories of laughter and warmth, of days spent in a tight-knit bubble. Now that bubble felt close to bursting, Mia's mind raced with her responsibilities. She couldn't just walk away. But how could she fulfill her dreams while supporting her family during such a critical time? A wave of despair threatened to crash over her, but she steadied herself. Aisha believed she could do both. The bus screeched to a halt, and Mia's breath hitched. She squeezed through the other passengers, darting toward the exit. Fresh air hit her face like a slap, and she took a moment to ground herself on the sidewalk. Her phone buzzed again, and she quickly pulled it out. Another text from Jake: "Mom's in the ER. We need you." Her heart plummeted. Panic gripped her. The urgency in those words suffocated her with dread. It was real. She couldn't ignore it any longer. She turned, her feet moving almost on their own accord toward the hospital, a place filled with hope and fear all at once. She reached the hospital entrance, the smell of antiseptic heavy in the air. Lights flickered above her as she stepped inside, her heart pounding louder than the footsteps echoing against the tiled floor. At the reception counter, she hesitated. The woman behind the desk looked up, but before Mia could speak, she heard Jake's frantic voice in the waiting area. "Mia! Over here!" She darted toward him, the sight of her brother bringing a rush of relief mixed with worry. Jake's eyes were red-rimmed, a reflection of everything they had faced since their mother's illness began. "Mia, thank God you're here. She's really struggling." "What happened?" Mia gasped, fear coating her words. "She collapsed at home. The doctor thinks it's dehydration. They're running tests now." Jake's voice broke, and in that moment, she saw the weight of their family's struggles etched on his face. Mia pulled him into a hug, feeling the warmth from his body. "We'll get through this," she whispered, though inside, the darkness loomed large. "Do we have anyone to help us?" Jake asked, the vulnerability in his voice tugging at Mia's heart. "Not right now, but I can manage things, I promise. Maybe I can take classes online, even work part-time to cover expenses," she said, trying to inject some hope into the grim reality. Jake pulled back, frustration evident on his face. "Mia, I want you to succeed too. But what if we can't hold this all together? You have dreams. And now Mom needs us. How do we do both?" His words hung heavy in the air, a challenge neither of them knew how to tackle. Mia glanced toward the waiting area, a nagging thought clawing at her mind. Was there really a way to balance this chaos? As they sat together in silence, she felt a spark of resolve igniting within her. They were a family, and together they could face anything. But as she looked at Jake, another wave of doubt washed over her. Could she really hold on to her dreams while carrying this burden? Outside, a storm began to brew, a reflection of the turmoil within her. What would happen if both worlds collided? And just then, a nurse appeared, her expression serious. "Family of Janet Dawson. We need to discuss her condition with you." Mia's breath caught in her throat, the moment before truth slid into focus. What would she find out? Would it shatter the fragile balance she fought to maintain? Mia's heart raced as she and Jake followed the nurse into a small, sterile room. The smell of disinfectant was overwhelming, and every detail, the stark white walls, the beeping monitors, sent shivers down her spine. She felt like a deer caught in headlights, frozen with fear of what was to come. "Have a seat, please," the nurse said, gesturing toward two plastic chairs. Her tone was gentle but firm, the kind meant to soften the blow of bad news. Mia exchanged a glance with Jake, his brow furrowed in concern. They both sat, their bodies tense, waiting for the nurse to continue. With each passing moment, the silence felt thicker, wrapping around them like a tight cocoon. Mia's pulse pounded in her ears, drowning out the hospital sounds. "Your mother is stable for now," the nurse began, but Mia was already holding her breath, waiting for the rest of the story. "However, the doctors need to conduct further tests to determine the underlying causes of her condition. Dehydration is just one factor, there could be more serious issues at play." Mia's heart sank. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice trembling. The nurse took a deep breath, her eyes softening. "We need to look closely at her kidney function and overall health. Robotic tests are underway. It's important that you stay calm and allow the doctors to do their jobs." Calm? How could she stay calm? The whirlwind of responsibilities loomed large over her. The thought that their mother might face something more severe than just dehydration was terrifying. "We should have brought her fluids," Jake murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. "I thought if we could just help her home, she'd be okay. It's not your fault," Mia reassured him, reaching for his hand. "We didn't know." But a sinking feeling settled in her gut, mixing with the fear that had been gnawing at her since she received Jake's panicked message. After a few minutes that felt like an eternity, the nurse guided them to wait outside while the doctors assessed their mom. They found a small nook in the corridor, both of them leaning against the wall as the world buzzed around them. Hospital staff rushed past, patients murmured in waiting rooms, and the sound of rolling gurneys echoed ominously. "How long do you think this will take?" Jake asked, his voice strained. "It could be a while." I don't know," Mia admitted, tears stinging her eyes. "I wish I could do more. I'm here, but what can I really do to help?" "You're doing it," Jake said softly, squeezing her hand. "You're here for Mom. You're here for me. That's all that matters right now." Mia wanted to believe that. But the weight of her dreams pressed heavily on her chest. Each passing moment added another layer of uncertainty to her future. She noticed a small poster on the wall, a quote about resilience and family. It felt surreal in that moment, how a simple saying could carry so much meaning yet feel so distant from their reality. Suddenly, the door to the treatment area swung open, and a doctor stepped out. His face was kind but serious, already translating fear into a new kind of worry. His voice broke through their silent panic. "Family of Janet Dawson." They both stood up straight, anxiety electrifying the air around them. "Is she okay?" Mia asked, her voice breaking. The doctor hesitated for just a moment, and Mia's heart plummeted into her stomach. Around them, life continued, but here in this moment, everything seemed to hang in the balance. Would they still be able to hold on to hope, or were they about to step into a new nightmare? Just then, from down the hall, a familiar face emerged, an unexpected visitor who could stir up even more turbulent emotions. Who was it, and what would they mean for Mia and Jake's already fragile situation? As the figure drew nearer, Mia's heart raced again, this time not out of fear but confusion. It was Ethan, their mother's old friend from the neighborhood, smiling broadly but with a hint of tension in his expression. His presence felt like a strange mix of comfort and chaos. Mia hadn't seen him in years, not since he moved away after college. "Ethan," Jake murmured in disbelief. "What are you doing here?" "I heard about Janet, and I came as soon as I could," Ethan said, his voice steady but warm. "You two look like you could use a friend right now." Mia felt a surge of gratitude. She knew Ethan's heart was in the right place, but as she peered into his eyes, her emotions tumbled over each other. Memories of happier times flooded back: the laughter, the gatherings, the way their mom always leaned on Ethan during tough patches. But this was different. They were in a hospital, and they desperately needed a miracle, not memories. "What did the doctor say?" Ethan asked, glancing between them. "Not much. Just more tests." Mia replied, her throat tightening. "I don't know how much more we can take." His expression shifted to one of concern. "I'm sure your mom will pull through. She's a fighter. But do you want me to stick around? I can help however you need." With tears brimming in her eyes, Mia shook her head, trying to fight them back. She felt the weight of Jake's hand holding hers and knew how fragile their situation was. "It's just everything feels so out of control." Ethan reached out, placing a comforting hand on her shoulder. "When everything around you feels chaotic, remember that you have each other. And your mom loves you both more than anything. That counts for something." They sat there in a semicircle against the sterile wall, enveloped in a strange sense of solidarity. The trio, from different parts of their lives, counted on to support one another amidst uncertainty. Talking about the past felt both comforting and heavy, the laughter now edged with worry. Silence stretched over them, punctuated only by the hushed conversations of passing visitors. Then, breaking that silence, Jake sighed, glancing at Ethan. "You know, I can't shake the feeling that we might not be ready for whatever news comes next." Mia nodded, remembering the times they had faced challenges together. "What if she's more sick than we thought? What if she needs something more than just our presence?" The corners of Ethan's mouth turned down, concern written plainly across his face. "Sometimes love isn't enough to fix things, but it's sure as hell a good place to start. We can't control everything. You both have done what you can." Mia wanted to dissolve in her optimism, but doubts lingered. As they continued to share stories of warmer days with their mom, there was a sudden commotion from the treatment area. A nurse came rushing by, and the earlier tension clung heavily in the air. "What does that mean?" Jake's voice raised slightly, causing Ethan to look over his shoulder. Mia herself felt the trepidation rising again, and she shared a worried glance with Jake. "I'll find out," Ethan said, determination lining his jaw. He turned to head toward the nurse, and Mia's heart twisted. What would they learn now? Would the news be another burden to bear, or would they finally see a glimmer of hope? The thought hit her harder than a freight train. They stood on the edge of understanding, and whatever the next words were could shift everything. Would it bring them closer to healing, or push them further into despair? "Just stay close," Jake urged, his grip on Mia's hand tightening as Ethan navigated the bustling hallway, searching for answers. As the seconds crept by, she realized she was entrusting the weight of their world into the unknown of the approaching moment. Would it hold the answers they desperately craved, or would the shadow of fear loom heavier than before? Mia's heart raced, each beat echoing a mix of hope and dread as she watched Ethan weave through the throng of doctors and nurses, his figure swallowed by the sterile environment. Jake's grip on her hand felt like a lifeline, a stable point in a world that had spun out of control. "What do you think he'll find out?" Mia whispered, afraid to voice her uncertainty too loudly. Her voice trembled, betraying her feigned calmness. Jake shrugged, his usual bravado eclipsed by worry. "I don't know. I wish we could just..." He paused, taking a deep breath. "I wish we could get some real answers." "What if they're bad?" Mia flinched at the words. In her mind, scenarios played out like dark waves crashing against a shore. Each one more terrifying than the last. She wanted to shake her head, to argue that their mom was strong enough to handle anything thrown her way. But the creeping fear made it hard to cling to that illusion. Moments stretched like hours. The hum of the hospital faded into a dull roar. Mia scanned the fluorescent lights flickering overhead, trying to distract herself. Jade green walls closed in on her. They were stuck in this limbo, waiting for Ethan to return with answers that felt almost too heavy to ask. Finally, she spotted him returning, his expression unmarred, yet heavy with an unspoken burden. Mia's breath hitched in anticipation. Would he have reassurance? Or a grim reality? Ethan approached, and the air around them felt charged, dense with unasked questions. "Hey," he said softly, an undercurrent of resolve in his voice. "The doctors are still running tests, but they'd like to speak with you both. They found something they want to discuss." His gaze moved from Mia to Jake, searching for courage in their faces that felt shattered from uncertainty. Mia's heart sank. "What do you mean found something? Is it bad?" Ethan didn't answer right away. Instead, he shifted slightly, allowing a sliver of light from the nearby window to catch the hope in his eyes. "It's not definitive yet. But it could explain her symptoms." He glanced sideways, as if weighing his words carefully. "But we need to go into the doctor's office to hear more." Jake's fingers tightened around Mia's. "Then let us go," he said firmly. They stood, a small bubble of strength amongst the chaos, and made their way to the designated room. Mia's thoughts bounced around, battling each other wildly. Maybe this was the start of clarity. Maybe it was the moment they set their sights on healing. Inside the small room, the walls felt even tighter. A stark, white table held papers like a solemn witness to their uncertainties. A doctor entered, her demeanor calm but serious, carrying a binder as if it held the very answer to their unending question. "Thank you for coming. I know this is a stressful time for you." Mia's breath quickened. She took in the doctor's features, memorizing the way her brow furrowed with concern. "What did you find?" "Your mother has come back with some results that suggest." The doctor hesitated, the weight of her pause amplifying every heartbeat. "We need to discuss the possibility of further treatment options." The words hung in the air. Treatment options. They were heavy, like the weight of 1,000 stars. Mia's mind raced. Their mom had been strong, the glue that held their lives together. What would happen if the treatment meant more than just pills and visits? She glanced at Jake, whose face mirrored her own mixture of hope and terror. The doctor continued, "There are several pathways, but I need to explain everything in detail." Mia swallowed hard, bracing herself for the cascade of information that felt like it could wash them away. She opened her mouth to ask a question, but no words came out. Jake cleared his throat. "So there's a chance?" he ventured, his voice shaky. "Yes," the doctor responded slowly. "But we need to weigh the options carefully." Mia's heart swelled and sank at once. Hope was a fickle friend. It had arrived out of nowhere, only to remind her that with each possibility came a risk. Would they have the strength to face whatever news awaited them? Next, Ethan's steady gaze locked with Mia's, bringing a spark of determination. "You two have each other, and that counts for so much. No matter what, remember that." As the doctor began laying out the details, Mia felt the familiar swell of anxiety. Still, within the chaos, she grasped that they were not alone. They would figure it out together. But in the corner of her mind lingered the question that echoed unanswered: what if the path they must take shattered the pieces of their little family even further? With each word from the doctor, the fragile hope she held would either flourish or tremble on the edge of despair. What lay ahead could reshape everything, and she had to brace for it, whether she was ready or not. Would she find the courage to navigate the storm brewing within those sterile hospital walls? In the days that followed, Mia's world swirled around a constant buzz of hospital visits, paperwork, and uncertainty. Each day blended into the next, weaving in and out of reality, where hope flickered uncertainly like a candle in a storm. Her mother's treatment began, and they learned the doctors believed it was just a matter of time, a cocktail of medications and therapies ahead, but the road to recovery was labyrinthine. Some days felt heavy like lead, while others unexpectedly brightened with small victories. Mia found solace in those wins: a smile from her mother, a good report, a moment of laughter shared between her and Jake amidst the chaos. But as the days unfolded, the shadows of responsibility loomed larger. Mia juggled her time between hospital visits and her new academic commitments, now taking online classes along with part-time work at the diner, just as she'd envisioned. She felt herself change, blossoming in ways she hadn't expected. One afternoon, while sitting in the break room at the diner, her phone buzzed with a video call request from Sarah. She smiled, quickly answering, "Hey. Mia. You look amazing." Sarah's face lit up the screen, excitement spilling out. "How's your mom?" "We're fighting," Mia said, her voice steady, but inside, she wrestled with the truth. "It's hard but we're okay." "You're juggling so much. I mean, going to school, working, and still supporting your family. It's like a superhero move." Sarah beamed, but Mia could see the concern under it all. "Some days it feels like I'm not juggling enough, you know. I want to be there for Mom and Jake and still, I really want to pursue my goals," Mia admitted, the vulnerability escaping her again. "And you can. Have you heard about the community project? They're looking for volunteers, and I'm sure you could fit it in." Sarah offered, hope glimmering in her eyes. Mia thought about it, her heart swelling with the desire to give back, to find strength outside her family's struggles. "Yeah, maybe I need to check it out," she replied slowly, feeling a rush of possibility. Later, after her shift, Mia found herself staring at her computer screen, scrolling through the community project's information. Her heart raced as she read about mentoring kids, offering support to those who felt just as lost as she had. She could help and learn. The idea felt like a lifeline connected to her purpose and a hope for the future. With a deep breath, she registered to volunteer. The next morning, she met the coordinator, a dynamic woman named Cassie, who radiated energy. "Mia. I'm thrilled you're joining us. We need bright minds like yours." Mia's heart filled with warmth. I just want to help," she said earnestly. Through the volunteer work, Mia discovered strength circulating through her, seeing the world from a different perspective. Each child she mentored inspired her anew, reigniting dreams buried beneath worry. Their laughter was contagious, reminding her of the joy that still existed amidst challenges. It was clear she needed this connection fuel in the fight for her own future alongside her family. Weeks turned into months. The hospital became a second home, and while the rooms were laced with uncertainty, the love within those walls never faltered. One evening, Mia sat by her mother's side, the air warm with familiarity. Her mother's face softened with love, and the faintest smile curved her lips. "You're stronger than I ever was," her mom whispered, words heavy with admiration. Mia felt tears prick her eyes. "I learned from the best," she replied, squeezing her mom's hand. It was in moments like these that Mia realized the duality of dreams and responsibilities didn't have to be a burden, they could coexist beautifully, enriching one another. She could forge her path and uplift her family simultaneously. By the time her mother's treatment was complete, Mia had turned her attention toward the future again, a radiant smile lighting her face as she realized she was more than the girl from the diner. She was Mia, a beacon of hope, a fighter for her family, their dreams intertwining like roots of a great OAK.AS. Graduation approached. Mia stood among her peers, balloons and laughter filling the air. The achievements around her felt surreal, echoing the victories she'd witnessed in her own life. Proudly, she walked across the stage to accept her scholarship. In that moment, she found her voice and shared her journey, speaking of resilience, family, and the beauty of community.as. The applause rang out, Mia's heart soared. She truly had harnessed her strength, the ripples of her hard work now creating waves of change not only for herself but also for those around her. She didn't realize it as she stepped off the stage, but behind her stood a crowd of friends, family, and supporters, ready to raise her up, to celebrate the embodiment of hope that she had become. In the deepest part of her heart, she felt a powerful surge of belonging and purpose, a bond that could overcome any storm. Now, it's your turn to be part of this journey. Subscribe immediately to our channel to ensure you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support for our community. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about Mia's transformation. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to watch this impactful journey. Only true fans understand how vital it is to support our channel through these actions. Every interaction matters.